provides life-changing resources to struggling families in Manatee and Sarasota counties. Emotional week here at the Tour Championship. Tommy Fleetwood now here at the 13th.
Yeah, 144 adjusted all in for the uphill. Trying to move something in a little bit from right to left. This looks really good.
It is really good. What a golf shot. He's doing it, Richard.
He is doing it. Body language is changing.
Cantlay just trying to keep up now.
Yeah, just a couple of paces closer to Cantlay. Slightly better angle. Doesn't have to deal with that little brow, that crown just that Tommy flew his ball over. But we've seen it doesn't roll far when it's up there. So I'm expecting nothing else but this man to take that aim. And this looks even better.
Wow, taking dead aim. Trying to keep pace.
Tommy Fleetwood continues to rise to the occasion here. There are some out there that are waiting for the bubble to burst, and I don't think he's one of them, Brendan.
I agree with exactly what Rich said there. The body language is changing. You know, they can see that there's a purpose in the walk, and I know these guys have been told to hurry up with this. So the purpose in the walk, there's a certain thing that he has right now in his feet. He's starting to get some really good swings.
The driver and then Scamper didn't let it go. He's walking with intention, like you said.
We talk about it so often that he's trying to knock down this door, win on the
Sorry, a little bit late on the old start time. The boy was a little bit late getting on a school bus, but it looks like we're okay. Just give me a couple of seconds, make sure we are okay. We are all good. Looks like that. Right, looks good, sounds good. That's what we want to say. It's what we want to hear. Righto. Okay. Okay, g'day team. Following on from last week, talking technique and getting our process, getting the structure, sort of our sequencing and stuff right. I thought we'll do some power strokes. Sorry, I still don't have my board up. I'm hoping to line my garage. Well, cleared my garage. So we might be in there next week. Still won't have anything on the inside, but at least we'll have a space. So what I thought is that because we're trying to get this stroke in this application right, we'll use power strokes to be able to help that. Okay, now it is from what I talk about in terms of like the take up period and holding and stuff like that. It may seem slightly counterintuitive in terms of the power, like thinking about that power in that first part of the stroke. Okay, but what we're actually trying to do is get our posture and stuff set up, and then really just focus on this first part of the stroke, right? So when we're in here, okay, what we're doing sort of from here to here, okay, because that's the initiation of our stroke. If, as I've said in the past, I've said if we do that slightly, okay, we lose potential of the body swing. If we push the legs a little bit, we lose potential of the body swing. Okay, and understanding that we're wanting to have the body come through that middle of the stroke and to be able to create that momentum, right? To create that force which gives us our speed on screen. So what the power strokes will do is, because the chain slows, the flywheel slows right down, we'll have a little bit more focus on this part here, right, which is that take up, getting back onto the speed of the flywheel, and then working about our transition in terms of that sequence from the legs driving to where the hips start hinging through till we bring in that whole stroke. Okay, so that's what we'll do with the power strokes. We are not going to change the rating. Okay, so we're going to do 6 5-minute pieces, and they're all going to be at 20 strokes a minute. Okay, and so it is really just focusing on when we increase that dial, right? That, yes, gets a little bit harder, okay, physically, because of that resistance, but we're going to use that resistance to help us with this part around the front turn. Okay, the take up will become less. Okay, it'll be shorter till you start to feel that pressure. And then once we've got that pressure and we're coming through, then we'll be able to really just start to think about how we're sequencing that stroke. Okay, and we're using that pressure. So we're going to have five changes. Okay, no, well, technically, yeah, just 5. The first one we will do at just normal 20 rate. Okay, the second, third, fourth, and fifth one, okay, we will go up. Now, depending on where you're at, we go up roughly a number. Okay, just dictate it by yourself. I don't like, if you're already on sort of 5-ish, whatever, you'll start getting up around about 9. So the idea here is, I don't want to put a fixed detail on. I want you to go up one number every time. One's a good sort of guesstimate as such, but dictate it by your own ability. Okay, if you think, shit, if I go up that high, I'm just going to fuck, it's going to be terrible. Then don't go all the way up, right? To give it, say, 3/4 of a number. Okay, and so the first one's with nothing, then we go up, go up, we go up, we go up, then we'll go back to what we were originally for the last one. Okay, now that last one's going to feel fucking weird, okay, because we haven't increased any rating or anything. But the whole idea is that we're going to be focused on this front turn, we're going to be focused on this pickup in the sequence of the stroke. And then we get back to the last one, and it's going to be real fast off that catch. The whole dry is going to feel so much quicker. So the idea is that we want to use those building ones to start putting ourselves into a position, and then the last one we have to be really focused, okay, to be able to try and get that pickup correctly, and to hold that sequence while we've just burnt ourselves out with a bit of effort and stuff. But that's the idea, okay. Natural power. Yeah, absolutely. That's it. Okay, I'm just gonna shuffle this up a little bit because I'm missing my head. Don't know if you really want to see my head though, but I'll it is a good, that's one thing, right? When you're at home or by yourself, like, obviously I'm giving you a great vista here, but if you do film yourself, which I do recommend every now and again, right? When you're watching it, if you've got a blank wall behind you, you should be able to see this chain, right? And you should be able to see it adjusting slightly, okay, going up or down. It also, your head is another good example about whether that's bobbing up and down too much, right? And yes, there is a little bit, it's very hard unless we're that really rigid to hold our head in sort of the same position, right? It will probably creep just a fraction, okay? And then as we swing through, there will be a little bit of the top of your head comes up, okay? But we don't want to see extremes, okay? The extremes are dropping it here, right? So it drops right down towards the catch. And then as we're coming through, the head comes up a lot. So we sort of get this, if you were to film it, you see quite a big disparity through that stroke of your head angle, right? Head height. So there's those little things like that where ultimately, right, you can sit there and practice away, or not unless you're in a program, probably in a rowing program as such, You're going to have a coach sitting there who can visualize it for you right there and then, and give you that opportunity. But that's why doing some filming of yourself should give you an idea, okay, about a few of those pointers that can help out, right? The parallelness of that chain coming forward, any up and down like this creates body movement, which is what we're trying to, I'm not going to say eliminate, but keep it to a very small movement up and down. Okay. Any up and down movement, even on the drive, that handle comes up, right? We don't have our potential maximum force coming straight back. Okay. Because if we start to come up, right, that gear we've got, and I'll give you a physics lesson, but I'm not a physics teacher, right? The forces are trying to go up and out at the same time, right? So we're counterintuitive, not doing the best possible thing that we can. Okay, so those little things, great little pointers, great little things you can go and try and do at home. Give you a little bit of feedback, and as I say, you don't need to. It's a. I don't know. I'm a big fan of the fact that if like, say for example, if you filmed every single fucking day, right, or if you tried to have a setup there with a TV there, you focus too much on the one stroke at a time rather than the trend over time. Okay, and that's why it's good for snapshots. Look at this for a snapshot. Okay, and then go back to it. Okay, think about it, focus on it, feel the difference. Does it feel foreign? Because if it does feel foreign, it probably could be a good thing because it means that it's a change. Okay, and so it's all those little things like that that if we can start to just understand that type of thing. I think we have a better opportunity to improve because we're looking at from a point of I've gone away, I've focused on it myself, I've worked on it, and then gone back to it. The only problem with working on things like right there and then all the time, like every single stroke, okay, oh shit, oh, shit, shit, shit. We lose focus on the overall picture of the fact that we can't change things like straight, or we can change things straight away, but it's about trying to focus on it, get the difference of feeling, and then be able to work on it over a period of time to then get that betterment and that improvement. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, so sound. Oh, yeah. Next YouTube lost. No, we're good. I think we got. Oh, scroll back. Okay, no. I didn't lose it. Must have been you, turkeys. Perfect. Okay, so let's get warmed up. I'll just take that off there so I get a better view, make sure we're all good. Warm up as normal. Okay, we just need a little bit of time to get loose, limber, get ourselves into position. Okay, and then from there we'll start working on things. Okay, as we roll through. So nice patience here. Just focus on our elasticity. One of my thought processes, okay, especially when I'm warming up in this first few minutes, is really just moving with the machine, okay, because I'm not trying to put in a lot of pressure, okay, but what I can feel is I can feel the machine doing its job, okay, which is our recoil, okay. The rating's reasonably low, so I can start by feeling my relationship, okay, with the machine, and then figuring from there what needs to be done, okay. Aish. Okay, and once I'm rolling in this motion and I'm starting to warm up, starting to get my elasticity. Okay. Then I'm in a position to start thinking about the application. Okay. And keeps push. Okay. And it's just all these little things, you know, not just jumping straight in and going straight at it. Okay. We can build our motion, build the feeling, build to our rating. Okay. So generally it takes me 2.5 minutes to start getting to like the training pace, which for me is around that sort of 20. And then from there, I can feel my movement speeds, the speed of my hands, okay, the recoil pressure in my fingers. Okay, just like that. Feeling the motion. Okay. And because in that first part, we're not focused on speed so much, okay? We're focused on the technical process of the stroke. So that then when we're here, we're like, okay, good. I'll focus the hand. I'll focus the long arms. And then you can add the pressure to that focus, okay? Okay, nice push, both feet. Good hang, start to really feel that body being driven by the legs. Okay, a few more here. Boom. Okay. See, I like watching. Seem like what I'm doing. Doesn't look too bad. Okay. Right. Okay, so let's get ourselves set up. Okay. Ready to go. Think about as we go through these different pressures. Okay, we'll use this first one. Just basically jump straight on from what we were doing there, but focus on the addition of a little bit more pressure, okay, to create that speed. And then use all of these different steps up as we go through this workout, okay, to focus on the part from here to here, okay? And focus a lot on that. Now, when I say focus, remember just whatever happens with it, accept it, repeat, okay? Think about it again, okay, and again. There's 100 strokes that we're going to think about, right, when we do it, when we're having to go at this, okay? And that's why you can't just go, oh shit, this one was fucked. Oh, that one, I'll try this different. Okay, it's just starting to work on it, roll into it. Okay, that feels a little bit better. You know, and after 10 strokes, now you might be starting, well, actually, yeah, I feel like I've had a good sequence of strokes there. Okay, and I think about that again. And so that's the whole idea. Okay, I'll talk about a whole lot of that technical stuff. You know, obviously we got to. The fucked up thing with the rowing machine is you've got to think about everything as well, right? But let's stay more thinking about this part here. Okay, keep this part free around the finish. Remember, when we're working on stuff like this, yes, we want to hit numbers that we know we can hit on screen and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if we come out of this, right, if we think about what we're trying to achieve from this workout today, we're focused on a certain aspect of the stroke. Okay, we're going to be working, we're going to be getting our fitness no matter what. That's not an issue. Okay, so let's just try and really think about the feeling. Okay, identify what's happening, why is it happening, okay, and really put that into play. Okay, right, I'm just going to turn off, I'm going to go on to do not disturb so some turkey doesn't try and call me while we're doing this. Okay, righto. Okay, let's set up our screens. Okay, select workout, new workout, intervals time. Okay, just ramp that up to 5 minutes. Okay, set time 1 minute. First one is on our normal training numbers. We increase it roughly a number, give or take, depending on how high you get and how much physicality. We do want to increase every time though. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. And then on that last one, bang, we're back to normal and we're going to feel a massive difference. Okay, right. Check boxes will go. Rock and roll. Okay, right. Okay, 20 rate, normal drag, good focus. Are you ready? Right? Nice here. Right, let's get our rhythm first. Inertia, momentum around the finish. Singular, travel speed on the way forward. Okay, nice and consistent. One constant pace. Okay. Good movement. Nice speed. Okay. So now we're into this rhythm. We're feeling this roll. Take our time to feel. Okay, that patience around the front. Hey, don't think about bang. Okay, we just roll in and press. A momentary, patient sort of pause at the front. Okay, it's there. Don't think about pausing though. Okay, think about it as a continuation. We've got the natural compression happening. Okay, and we can't hold that compression. Okay, it's just too fucking hard. So as we roll in, that compression is the forces of it are wanting to push us away. Okay. And nice movement, nice movement. Nice and flat with this chain. Both directions, okay? Good. Roll with it. And focus these long arms. This hang feeling. Right, arms are just there as our connector. Try to eliminate too much tension in the arms to think that you've got to hold on to the handle. Okay, remember that grip strength of our fingers. Okay, fingers can just wrap around. We hang. You know, and it's not like we're holding the same weight, right? Because the speed of that handle is accelerating. So as we're coming through, we've got that feeling. We can start to feel that, hey, I don't need to hold this as firm. Okay, I can feel it gaining speed and momentum. And through the stroke sequence, we just let that handle come to us. Okay. Boom. Right. So with that damper setting up, okay, in your own time, you're going to have that extra resistance, okay, on the flywheel. So let's really think about the same process, okay? But, you know, as I say, we roll into here and we can't hold that position there, right, too much. We use that compression, okay, and the opposite forces wanting to push us out, okay, with the body to smoothly change that direction around there onto the next one. Okay, here we go. Now, so you'll feel a slight more resistance around just after that catch. First and foremost, stay under here. Okay, don't feel more tension in the arms or up in the shoulders. Okay, naturally there'll be more resistance. Okay, so think about that naturalness of it. It means that our drive speed in that first part of the stroke is going to be slower there because of that take up, because of that resistance. But just focus on that composure, okay, the posture, but just roll in, pick it up, and just feel that little bit of extra that we need to create because of that resistance, okay? Just a little bit, right? We can feel the leg drive feels longer there with that resistance. Okay? Feel the hand. Oh, no. Good. Nice motion of the drive. Context. Feel that hand. And double check, make sure we're not choking this handle. Okay, good. And roll in with that one speed. Let the body put the brakes on. Seat rolling naturally up towards the ankles. Good. Have a look. Okay, one speed. Body compression stops us at a natural length. Good. Nice and flat with that drive. Think about that parallelness of the chain. Good. Nice roll. Both feet just press. Hold that pressure. Okay, nice. Okay, so that increase in resistance. Okay, feel it. Make sure with our psychology, we don't go, oh, it's going to be heavier. You know, accept it. Okay, acceptance is the key. So, how do we know that it's changing, but how do we keep ourselves from trying to grunt it, trying to move it? Okay, just let that happen naturally as we start off. Okay, staying focused on the drive. That front part will feel a little bit slower because of that resistance. So get it going, work on it from there. Okay, so feel the hang, okay. Pressure on the feet, stay loose in the shoulders. Rolling nice with that one speed, and then hang out of it. Long arms. Remember the difference between a nice, stable posture, okay, and tension in the posture, okay? Remembering the speed is created through the drive, so you don't have to try and jump on the front. We want patience, smoothness, okay? Here it is. Okay, nice rhythm, nice ratio. Nice body setup around the finish. Get into our stability and then roll into the front. Okay, roll. Body, create the decel. And then let me change that direction. Create the speed. Okay, create the speed, not grab the flywheel. Okay, we can feel the force needed, okay, on our legs. So hold our stability and just feel that drive speed. Okay? Because of that resistance, feel when the body is being driven, try and transition it smoothly during the stroke. And that body from that 11 through to that 1 o'clock. Nice. Trying to get as close to that. I think it's a 60-degree range of motion. Could be wrong. Nice. Double check. Tension. Release it. Feel our suppleness. Good. Nice one. Okay, good. Okay, so I can already feel that my legs, body are required to work just that little bit more, okay, because of that resistance. I'm accepting it. I'm just trying to maintain it. Okay, it's not getting into my head like, fuck, this is harder, this is harder, this is harder. Just thinking, yes, it's going to feel slightly slower in that drive, but I'm going to keep that pressure and that force on. Okay. Okay. There we go. Whoa, baby. I had the elastic to start. It's really going to start to show now with this resistance around that front through here. Okay, so just build into it. Create your own acceptance, and then build on the form from there. Okay? Stable body. Continuous motion. Okay? Don't grab the handle any tighter because of that resistance. Okay? Try and keep it with what you've had. Okay? But just know that you're going to feel more resistance against your fingers. Okay? Because that handle is slower. But if we start to think we've got to hold on to it tighter, okay, we start bringing in that unwanted tension. Okay. Press. Feel that turn around the front. That change in direction. Think about how can we feel a constant acceleration through the drive, okay? Lawnmower, creating that speed. Holding nice posture. No? Good. Both feet. We're coming to the front. We push away. Balls of the feet. While the legs and body do their work. Okay. Nice. Roll. Roll. Okay. Probably have to think about a bit of that creative inertia around the back. Okay, because the handle's a bit slower into the body. But remember, 1 speed forward. Nice. Okay, sitting, good posture. Hang. Nice. Good rhythm. Patience. Connect. Sit back. Okay. So physically, really starting to feel it. Okay. Let's remember, maintain that this relaxation forward. Okay. And then really just feel the time that it takes out of the drive. Okay. Could be. Remember, yes, everything starts to feel a little bit harder because of that resistance. Accept the resistance, okay? Work with it. Here we go. Elasticity. Okay, you can really feel here how slow that drive feels, okay? But focus on our sequence, leads driving the body. Really feel this hang, okay? Really try and stay out of these shoulders, stay out of the tension of the arms, okay? Really put in that hang tension, okay? Remember to try and find that work rest ratio. So we've still got some composure here. Nice. Okay, take up. And then sit back. Push that body backwards. Okay. Not really going to feel any sort of acceleration. So lock in this take up and the technique. To create this drive, okay? Nice. Okay. Check our postures. Smooth drive and sequence. Hey, no trying to force a change, okay? One movement. One drive. Okay, good. Nice. Okay. Patience. Breathe. Okay, double check your hands, the neck, shoulders. Good. Neck to roll in. Press. Feel the move. Sequence this drive. Good. Nice. Good roll. Okay. No facial tension. In through the hips. Hang. Huh? Real good. Okay, so see how slow that drive felt. Okay. The resistance just doesn't give us any way of having an acceleration through the drive. Okay. So whip that back to where we started. Okay. Now this is going to feel weird as fuck. Okay. But remember, all we need to focus on is at the front. Coming out of the front is going to be quicker. Okay. Here we go. Still got there. Okay. Just focus. Don't have any grab. Move away from the front with that speed. Okay. Coming in. And doing that take up. And then one speed of the drive. Okay. Body sequencing through. We can now feel that acceleration. Means we've got time to be patient on the recovery after that inertia. Okay. Rolling. Okay. Bang. No tension in that handle. Good. Good rhythm. Nice. Okay. Long arms. Body posture as we compress into the front. Yeah. Nice. Keeping that flywheel spinning. Good. Body decel. And then change that direction smoothly. Yeah. Parallel. Good. Good pickup. Leads driving the body. Good. Now we're just maintaining this. Trying to be efficient. Repeat, stroke after stroke. Nice. Lovely. We've had a good last minute here. Good. Let's focus it. Okay. Release any tension. Supple. Patient. Feel the drive. Take up. Let drive the body. Patient turnaround. No grab. Nice. Good. Okay. Like, what a difference, right? From the power and the resistance going up, okay, to then going back to normal, being like, holy smokes. Okay, and that's what the resistance here does. Okay. Now just reset your monitor when you can, but you're probably seeing some really good numbers on those resistance ones, right? Because the resistance is high, the rate's low, okay, and you're focused on that take up and the pressure that you've got against the drive, okay? And then ultimately when you go back, like, holy shit, not hitting my numbers at the start. Well, you might not hit them at all, okay? But remember that resistance, could you hold it for half an hour? Probably not. You hold it for a K as a piece. Might get a little bit heavy. Okay. And that is the real world experience of the difference between, power and rating, resistance and the drag. Okay. Trying to find what your space is that you want to have. Okay. All because of that. But, ultimately, right at the start, we're talking about this part here as we come out of the catch. Okay. As we roll in and we come out here. When we have that resistance, right from there, right from that word go, okay, as soon as you change that direction, you can feel that you've got that connection, okay? When we take that resistance down on our damper, right, sometimes it feels like it's not till there or so, right, before you get onto that resistance. And all of that is catching up to the speed that the flywheel is actually generating, okay? Because when they have that resistance up, the gates are open, the air's gone, the flywheel decelerates very quickly. And so ultimately, we get to that point where we do get onto that take up, okay? And so that's why focusing on that front part, it gives us that idea of got to stay relaxed, can't get there and think and tense the muscles to try and create. Because what a lot of the aspect is that, if you're just here now and you just go, it doesn't really feel like you get onto the speed or you get, say, connection. And that's why generally, for your own personal thing, if you get there, you give it a little bit like right on the front, okay? You feel the resistance And so you think by feeling that resistance, oh, I've got it. Okay. And you do. Okay. You absolutely do have it. Okay. But is that all you're going to get? Right? If you get that there, are you going to get anything more through the stroke? And that's where, having that take up and then trying to create that acceleration and using that body through the drive, okay, creates more potential for the momentum of that flywheel, okay, to give us that speed. And so that's why we focus on this part, not being tense, okay, having good posture, so that we can pick that up and then create that speed through that whole drive phase, okay, rather than there and probably, picking, you're trying to get the speed on, but then not having the ability to create that acceleration right through that drive, okay? Oh, come on, Tommy. Sorry, I'm watching the PGA at the same time. I hope Tommy Fleetwood wins. Just so I track there for a little bit. Yeah, so we think about what we've done, okay, in that power stroke workout, and it's a really good way of identifying certain aspects. Hence why I say power strokes in some shape or form are really good to be used during during your own week, right? Your own working plan and that type of thing, because it gives you the opportunity to really feel how you're creating the stroke, right? The forces, the pressures, especially through that first part of the drive, okay? Because if you can get that momentum and you can feel that push and you can get that connection off the front without the tension, okay, it gives us a really nice ability to feel that drive through, okay, and that drive through the stroke is what allows all the muscle groups to do their part, okay, in that sequence. And by then creating that means that we don't have certain, like one part of our body that dies before the other. Okay. We don't have our legs like, oh, fuck, my legs, they're just gone, whatever. Maybe you've got more, or sometimes you'll be like, fuck, my shoulders and my arms just get so burnt out. It's like, okay, well, are you just is it just a little bit of too much here to try and get that body swing? And I know it's a really difficult part because getting that sequence and because ultimately, rowing 101, legs, body, arms, right? 101, right? We're on 401, right? We're getting up to the masters and the PhD side of things. And the transition between that legs, body, arms needs to be smooth, sequenced through, okay, overlapping forces that are working together, okay, that create that, right? We want to see that, okay, not that, okay, and that's what we try and do here, and that's a really hard, like honestly, it's a really hard thing to get right, and it's about working on it. It's about thinking what you're doing. Do I feel I'm in a good place? You've got to have, because the whole idea is to get to that, and the terminology, right, that I use all the time, to get to your potential. Okay, you've got to have reasonably good core stability. Okay, you've got to have reasonably good back strength. Okay, you've got to have reasonably good flexibility, and you put all of those aspects together and you mix it in a little bowl, and we've got close to getting to that potential that we're after. Okay, and that's the aspect of it that we're looking for. Okay. Strange behavior. My splits and watts were steady. My drag factor was bouncing like 10 points. Does that mean that my sensors are loose or faulty? Your drag factor shouldn't jump around. Yeah. No, if you're seeing the drag factor on the machine, it shouldn't jump around that much. I don't think so. On erg data, but not normally display when I'm using it. Oh, okay. I don't know. I haven't used the erg data drag factor for a long time. I haven't used it for a long time. But the drag factor shouldn't change really at all, because it's like, even if you just chucked in a really hard couple of strokes or a couple of light ones, I don't know if it changes. I'll have to check up on that one. Doug loves power strokes. My glutes disagree. Awesome time. I'll tell you what, Doug, the one thing is that and it tends to be the case, if your glutes, like I have trouble sitting after most rowing sessions, right? Even when I was in the boat. And to be fair, it's probably a good thing, because you are using that power of your glutes, right? Because if you're getting that press and that drive, and you're fucking squeezing your asshole and you can feel yourself sort of going through, then you've probably got really good engagement. Okay. And that's a good thing. Yeah. It sucks because you get sore ass, that sore glutes, right through. But ideally, that's a really good focal point to think about, right? When you finish a session, anyone, right? There should be certain parts that you're like, I'm tired here or whatever. I'm at the moment, I've been roofing my house. And so my Achilles and my calves are killing me. And like, I rode the other day and I was just like, oh mate. But of course, I know that that's sore because of that. Okay. I never finish and go, man, my shoulders are tight, or my neck's tight, or my forearms are tight, or that sort of type of thing, because I know that if I do feel that, I'm probably overusing it. Okay. So having good identification on your own body is really good to have. Also, yeah, I do power strokes videos once a week. Really helps me trying to figure out my ratio, Rich. Yeah, and that's one thing I think you guys probably like. I noticed it, dramatically, is that when I was on that last one, right? Because it feels like it takes so long for your handle to come in, you don't have that speed of inertia to be able to come in and out. And so a lot of times, to make sure that the rating doesn't drop too low, it almost feels like you've got to you don't have to force the hands away, but what you have to do is release them just a little bit more so that they actually go out. Okay. And so those are the things you got to think about. Pims, love the session. The low 20 strokes throughout really helped me understand differences about my body. Need to make adjustments and form. Perfect. Okay, that's what we like to hear. Okay, good identification, team. Great workout. I got a few things. My roofer's just turned up to do my gutters, so I better go and have a yarn to him. But otherwise, well done. Keep up the good work, and we'll see you guys back here next week.